Hello, this is Leslie Brown, the Director of Customer Care for Peninsula Clean Energy. Today I'm going to walk you through our customer care and billing operations. So in this video, I'm going to walk through our customer care operations, review our rates and how we calculate rates for Eco Plus and the Eco 100 surcharge, and walk through an example of how to read your bill. So as part of our customer care operations, we do have a billing and data management provider, Calpine Energy Solutions. Calpine Energy Solutions provides back-end data management services for most of the CCAs operating in California today. They also oversee a call center in Santa Rosa that's operated by Energy Choice California. Those call center operators can answer basic billing questions, can process Eco 100 upgrades, and process opt-out for customers who want to return to PG&E as their sole provider. Peninsula Clean Energy also has a customer contact email, info@peninsulacleanenergy.com, which is monitored and answered by Peninsula Clean Energy staff. Now I'd like to take a couple minutes and go over our rates. Peninsula Clean Energy mirrors all of PG&E's generation rates with our own Eco Plus option. PG&E currently has over 150 different tariffs across all rate classes, including residential, commercial, and agricultural. Those tariffs are comprised of approximately 500 different billing determinants covering seasonality, winter and summer, time of use periods, different rates for peak, part peak, and off-peak periods, and other rate variables. Peninsula Clean Energy calculates a complementary rate for every billing determinant to provide Eco Plus customers a net 5% generation discount regardless of what underlying PG&E rate is selected. So I'm going to walk you through how we do an Eco Plus rate calculation for our customers. In order to ensure that Peninsula Clean Energy customers receive a net 5% discount with Eco Plus, we have to factor in the PG&E surcharges, PCIA, which is the Power Charge Indifference Adjustment, and the franchise fee surcharge, which are applied to customers taking CCA service. So we'll start with the PG&E generation rate, multiply that by 95%, then subtract out the relevant PCIA and franchise fee surcharge, and we're left with the resulting PCE Eco Plus rate. So to walk you through this with an E1 rate, which is a residential rate as an example, we'll start with the current E1 rate, which is just under 11.5 cents per kilowatt hour, multiply that by 95%, subtract out the applicable PCIA, which is just under 5 cents per kilowatt hour, subtract out the much smaller franchise fee surcharge, and then we're left with a rate that's just over 6 cents per kilowatt hour. And that's actually the rate that Peninsula Clean Energy charges for E1 to our residential customers. But the net cost to the customer is that Eco Plus rate plus what they have to pay in surcharges to PG&E, which is the PCIA and franchise fee surcharge. So as you can see, the net cost to the customer is just under 11 cents a kilowatt hour, 10.847 cents in this example. So we're going to walk through that Eco Plus rate calculation again for E1, starting with that PG&E generation rate, which is 11.418 cents per kilowatt hour. Multiply that by 95%, and then we're going to back out the PCIA and franchise fee surcharge, and the end result is going to be the PCE Eco Plus rate, which as you can see here is just over 6 cents per kilowatt hour, which is also about half of what the PG&E rate is. So that's what Peninsula Clean Energy is going to be collecting from the customer in this scenario. But the net cost to the customer is that PCE Eco Plus rate plus those PG&E surcharges. So what the customer is paying in the end is just under 11 cents per kilowatt hour, 10.847 cents in this example. Eco 100 is Peninsula Clean Energy's 100% renewable option. Eco 100 costs 1 cent per kilowatt hour and can be added to any Eco Plus rate. And now I'd like to walk you through an example of how to read your PG&E bill. So as you can see here, this is a sample of a page 1 of a PG&E bill. It shows line items for both PG&E electric delivery charges and Peninsula Clean Energy generation charges. Previously, that would have just been one line item for electric charges by PG&E, but since Peninsula Clean Energy is now providing generation services, it's split up into 2 line items. And now we're going to look at some of the details of the interior pages of the bill. So this is a sample of page 3 of the PG&E bill, which shows the details for the PG&E electric delivery charges. This is again an E1 customer that we're looking at. And for this billing period, the customer used a total of 370 kilowatt hours. 327 of them were at the lower tier 1 usage, 43 of them were at the higher tier 2 usage. And then you can see the bundled electric rate for each of those tiers are 18.3 cents and 24.2 cents respectively. Now that's the total bundled rate for PG&E. So if PG&E was charging for both generation and delivery services, that would be the total rate. But since Peninsula Clean Energy is providing generation services, now we have to look, and you can see here at line 6 where PG&E has to enter a generation credit. So that's a negative number to credit the generation charges because those are being provided by Peninsula Clean Energy. And then we have 2 new line items, 7 and 8, which are the power charge indifferent adjustment and the franchise fee surcharge. And now we'll take a little bit closer look at the details page for the Peninsula Clean Energy generation charges, which is usually page 4 of the PG&E bill. You can see this was an E1 rate schedule. Total kilowatt hours consumed is 370, and there's only one charge for generation. You remember in the PG&E side of the bill, there were a tier 1 and a tier 2. But for the E1 rate schedule, there's only one charge for generation. And in this case, it was 6.815 cents per kilowatt hour. So it's 370 kilowatt hours times the 6.8 cents per kilowatt hour charge. Add in the pass-through charge from the state, the energy surcharge. And the total cost from Peninsula Clean Energy for generation services is $25.33. Which, as you can see, is much less than what PG&E would have charged, which is $35 in this case. But we factor in the PCIA and franchise fee that the customer also has to pay now. And so the net savings by being a Peninsula Clean Energy generation customer is 5%. I hope that helped give you a little bit more insight into our customer care and billing operations. Please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any further questions. Thank you.